Albert Einstein once wrote, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." Do not be
Retail investor, let's go. You know this. Today we are studying the company named Blue Label Telecoms. It's a South African company founded in 2001 and it was listed in 2007. I always mention the listing and the foundation date because it's always helpful to understand when did the company decide to toy or maybe invest investors' money in its operations. It's always helpful it's always helpful to know that if a company started using investors' money too early after its foundational date, it's sometimes always risky to invest in such a company. Secondly, Blue Label Telecoms is a producer of prepaid products, airtime, electricity, tickets, and bills, and most prepaid services. So, Blue Label Telecoms, if for instance you are buying airtime from Vodacom or from MTN, and probably buying from Blue Label Telecoms, because Blue Label Telecoms buys the airtimes from these network providers and sell it to the end user, which is the customer. Thirdly, Blue Label Telecoms is owned by the Levy brothers. The Levy brothers are the founders of the company and they are still in charge as the chief executive officers of the company. Fourthly, Blue Label Telecoms had a deal with Microsoft, and Microsoft had a minority stake holding in the company in 2007, but it sold it during 2011. And then the year end of the company is the 31st of May. And as always, the reason why I mention at the year end is because if a company is about to issue dividend, you always want to know when is the There are 5 reasons for a buy, as in BUY. The spectrum advantage. So Cell C is owned by Blue Label Telecoms, and Cell C, more than any other network provider in South Africa, has much more subscribers of the spectrum. A spectrum is the enabler that ensures that if I'm calling you when I'm in the Western Cape and you are in Johannesburg, you are able to hear me. So it ensures that there is wireless connectivity, not only in calls, but in many other aspects. And Cell C is the one that is dominating in that aspect in South Africa. Secondly, Capitec Connect. You know, Capitec has about almost half of South Africans banking with them. And the Capitec Connect has over 2 million customers subscribed there. And the company facilitating all that Capitec Connect processes is Blue Label Telecoms. Thirdly, institutional investors have been running away from the share of Blue Label Telecoms with obvious reasons, because Blue Label acquired Cell C and Cell C was not making that much money and the share price of Blue Label Telecoms went down. But because the company has value and now it's planning to list Cell C separately, there might be a comeback of institutional investors later, and it will make the share price go up, probably. And as I've mentioned now, that a value from Cell C means that once Cell C is listed, and it will be unbundled from Blue Label Telecoms. In other words, Blue Label Telecoms, because Cell C has been in so much debt, Blue Label Telecoms will be able to make the balance sheet of the company be able to be healthy. And fifthly, the share price is one of the cheapest. It's actually trading at 16 rands currently, and it has risen from about 400% really from the last year. So it's an easy buy. Okay, so now the reasons for a good buy. Number 1, there's a possibility that Cell C might not be unbundled and be eligible for a listing, and there are plenty of reasons for that. JSE requirements, and also because of Cell C's balance sheet. but the CEOs are really confident that Cell C will be allowed to list. But it's just that a risk in that respect. Second, customers are reluctant to change SIM cards, and I think I'm not unique in that regard. And it's proven actually with research that people, it's like changing a bank. It takes a will to change your bank because I've been used to it, and plus because of the process of having to change a bank or maybe having to do a SIM swap in the case of a SIM card, it's a hard one. And plus Cell C, as I've said, it's the third largest network provider in South Africa after MTN, Vodacom, and actually it's the fourth, to be honest, because there's Telkom also. And now Cell C is again going to be competing for market share against these big giants. And with the value that MTN Vodacom is providing to the South African community or the African community at large, for Cell C to be part of that pizza breaking, it's going to be a tough environment. And also the company itself, Blue Label, it's a really hard company to predict where it's actually going because it's in a telecommunication space and not a lot of people, I mean even analysts, don't really understand the company. That's why institutional investors tend to run away from telecoms, or maybe rather with Blue Label telecoms in this regard. It's a hard company to understand. You can't really predict where the share price is going, and it's a sort of volatile share price. And also, the last time that the company paid a dividend was in 2018, and it's been long since then. It's almost 7 years that the company hasn't paid a dividend, and its dividend yield sitting at 0%. So that's the information for today, and I hope it has been helpful. And thank you.